understand Facebook ad metrics to make smarter decisions. But so what we're going to do on this is I'm going to take you into Ads Manager, and we're going to build some columns for e-commerce and for lead generation. And I'm going to show you how to set these columns up and why you need to set them up like this to have a true understanding of how you can see the metrics working to know what's happening in your funnel. And let's get into it. But first, what I want to do is just tell you a bit about who I am if you've not been on one of these before. So Nick Bonington, own an agency called Let's Run Social. And you can see some of our clients here, Enterprise Cars, Verizon, some brilliant companies that we work with and we have worked with for years. We've been going for 6 years now. But off the back of that, 3 years ago, I set up a podcast called Let's Run Facebook Ads Podcast. Now we've just actually reached 100,000 downloads, which is brilliant news. So there's a lot of people listening to this. And from there, I put an advert on there, which said, if you need help with your Facebook ads, come to the Ads Clinic. And we just called it the Ads Clinic at the time. The Ads Clinic has actually grown since then. So we actually have a free school here where you've got how-to videos. I do live drop-ins on a Thursday, and we obviously live here on Instagram on a Wednesday, as well as listening to the podcast. Now, why is that beneficial for you guys? Well, during the how-to videos, I'm actually going to go into school quickly now and actually show you. So in the how-to, which is prevalent for this call, in case you don't want to watch this back and you just want to get straight into it, if you go to the Ads Clinic school, so it's school.com/the Ads Clinic, I've actually got 2 videos here, which is how to set up tracking for e-com ads and how to set up your tracking columns for lead gen ads, which is exactly what we're going to go over today, but nice 2 separate ads for you to have a look at. So go to school.com/ads clinic. So let's get back into this presentation, just go over a little bit more. So if you haven't done any Facebook before, it's an amazing platform to get started on. Now, if a lot of people say to me, "Oh, Facebook don't ads work." Now they don't work because it's not done properly, and it's not all about the setup, even though there are some major slip-ups that you can make in the setup. But if you follow the instructions that I have in my courses, which are free, then you can get around those. But essentially, we have a huge platform here. In the UK, 68 million people and 44 million of them approximately have an active Facebook account. Now, I know some of you might be saying, "Oh, I don't have Facebook, I use Instagram." It's all the same thing, but it's amazing how many people at some point in their life since Facebook started created their account, whether you go in there or not, but we have it. 44 million people have it. And it's great from an audience diversity point of view. So Facebook user base spans all ages, age groups, genders and interests, and user touch points. So it's touched by millions of people, created exposure and opportunities, and it's a perfect place for you to run your ads, with 70% of Facebook visitors visiting daily. Amazing place for you to run ads. And if you are new to advertising, I would definitely say this is the place that you get good at running ads before moving into the other platforms like TikTok and LinkedIn, simply because I think it's extremely easy to use once you've got a bit of guidance, and you just get amazing metrics. We can also target really, really well. So we've got demographics, as I said before, age, gender, relationship status. We've got interest. We've got the favorite bands, the online behaviors. We can then retarget through custom audiences and lookalikes. So people who've been to your website, you can retarget with other products because they're getting warmer, part of a warmer audience. And we can go down to radiuses of our offices or our clinics or our shops. So this is amazing. It's an amazing place. Now, just to give you an idea of some of the results that my clients get, here is a wedding planner, a photography and videography, beautiful wedding photography they do. Now in November, we've got a stat here. They spent 788, and this is on their first month. They were doing lead generation, 26 leads, and they got 16 calls. By the way, not trying to sell you anything on this video, just in case you're thinking, what am I telling? This is just proof of Facebook working for people. Their cost per call is $49. They sold 6 packages at $3,000, 18,000 in revenue. Amazing. And another one here, I was on a call with him this morning actually, and he's obviously been working with me for a while, where I actually help him with his Facebook ads. But he's had his first week came on, we had a few different videos that he'd been trialing, 66 leads, 18 discovery calls from those leads, 5 sales at 3,000. It cost, 400 quid cost per acquisition. Over working with the ads and using the metrics that I'm going to show you today, figuring out where the bottlenecks are, doing stuff to his landing page, which we did around week 6. You can see here we've shot straight up. So our percentage from lead to booking has gone from 35 all the way up to consistently higher amounts. We're closing more things. You can see here on his last week, 29, 17,500. This is on a week, guys. This is 2,000 spent in a week, 17,500. Off the call this morning, we're actually on his 12th week now, and he's done 22,500 and only spent 1,300 quid. So this is what can happen. So let's get into it, because I know you guys are busy and you're on your lunch, and thanks for taking the time to do this. Let's just jump straight into an ads manager account. So here we have ads manager, and I'm going to show you, it's not about creating an ad. This call is about how we're going to set up the columns. And I'm going to start with lead gen here. So this is pretty much the default column that you get. So when you first go and set it up, so you are usually set on performance. Now, the one I would go to above and beyond that would be going down here and clicking discover more column presets. And in here, you have a whole library of different arrangements. So any of these you press changes. So even if it's sales for e-commerce, it changes and brings you more columns and gives you a ROAS here, etc., etc. But I like to build this myself, because even these preset ones that they do, I just don't think they're as good as understanding what metrics you need. So my sort of go-to is, rather than performance, I like to go to performance and clicks. This gives you a really good view of what's going on. And then we can actually start adding things to this if we wanted to, depending on what we're doing in our funnel. But for a lead gen, this gives you a really, really good one as a basis. Okay, so I'm actually going to show you this one. I'm going to show you my funnel here, which is these ones here, and this submit one. And I'm going to explain how I start looking at different things in here. Right, so let's look at this one. So in the last 7 days, basically what the website submit applications is how I have set my ad up. So that what I want to do is, the first thing that someone does when they go onto my landing page is they click, they enter their details, name, email address, and telephone number. And once they've done that and hit the submit button, it completes that submit application. That's the event I've set up. So if I go through to the landing page, I can show you how this works. So let me open this. Just check the pages are changing. Yes, they are. Right. So this is what happens when someone comes on. When they click, it's actually opened up. But when they click on here, like this, let's just reset that. They would click on this button and they get to this form. Now, when they submit that button here, either on the button or on the thank you page, the next stage of this form, what happens is we get a submit application. Okay, so the way we can start looking at this is we could go, we're interested in here in the link clicks. So it's saying the last 7 days from that ad, I've had 34 people have clicked this particular ad. Okay, so if I go into compare my, customize my columns, I actually want to bring in now into here, if it allows me to click in it, submit application. So application submitted, total, and the cost. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here and I always like to unclick these because it gives us the different options. But when you're just running normal metrics, these ones won't show up anything. It will just make a lot of columns. So, and the cost we've got there. So let's save this. Let's save this to, call it lead gen. Okay, right, so we're going to save that here. Now, if I apply that, we'll see that it has come to the end. I'm going to want to move these, so we can quite easily go back into customize our columns, and I can go down here, and I want to move this next to the clicks, which is there. Let's bring the clicks above it. So I want to see what's happening. So we're going to go there. Now I've moved them up. So I want to see impressions leads to link clicks, leads to application submitted. Let's save that again. So you can see here, we're now starting to create a bit of a funnel. The ad's been running, 3,000 impressions has led to 34 clicks, has led to 5 applications submitted. Now, once someone submitted this form, I then go through a number of questions, which is, are you running Facebook ads? Where did you hear about us? What's your average spend? And put your website in where you're sending your ads to. So it gives me more information for when they're going to go into a call. But I want them to go to a call. So if I just put my details in here, I'm going to change some stuff. So just put that in and submit this. Right, this is now fired the submit application. Okay, I'm going to go through a couple of these questions now. I'm just going to put whatever in. Okay, obviously I'd want someone to take a bit more care with this. There, and then I'm going to submit. Right. Now what happens here when I go to submit? I've asked for some information, and now it's going to want me to book a call. Okay, so this is where once they've done this, it becomes a lead. So let's say we're going to do tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and they select a date. Okay, just scroll down. All my details here, and when I confirm this booking an appointment, it's going to take me to a landing page. And that landing page now has fired a lead. So we can go see, you can see I've fired a lead. Okay, right, that's really important. So if I go back to the ads manager, we've got applications submitted, which is the first part, but I actually want the lead. So I want to know that. So if we go back into lead gen and we go to customize columns again, and I can type in here lead and the cost. We always remember we untick these. It's just a habit I like. Now let's move these down here. So we're going to have submit applications and then the leads and then cost per lead. If I press save, you can now see we've come down here. So our funnel is now if you wanted to, you could go and delete all this if you wanted to keep it nice and clean. So in fact, let's just do that. Let's have the columns that we want. So let's just for, you can just do what you like here. If you want to, this is about seeing what we want to see. It's not letting me do those. Can it? No, see, look, it's a bit buggy, isn't it? I can't see over the, oh, yes, we can. Right, so submit application, cost per click. Gone. Now, we can save that. And here we go. Now we've got our columns of knowing exactly how to read our funnel with nothing else around. Now, as I said, if you go back into my course at school.com, the ads clinic, you'll see how to set up there. And I can spend more time. You can watch those videos and spend more time setting them exactly. But this, for the purpose of this, I wanted to show you how we can see the funnel. So videos playing on Facebook into my audience. We've had 3,000 impressions. That's led to 34 link clicks. 34 link clicks has led to 5 people filling out the form. And I keep that information, which is good because they then get emailed, thank you for your interest, etc., etc. And off those, 2 people have actually booked a calendar call with me. Now that I understand this, my cost per lead is £53. My submit application is £21. So it's costing £21 to get someone to the first part, and it's costing £53 to get someone on a call. Now, I understand that 1 in every 3 I close into a client. So as long as I'm getting 3 a week, for instance, and I'm closing 1 of them, I know that I'm building up. Now, all I need to do is find winning creatives that I'm happy with, and different creatives are going to get different metrics. But as you sort of build all your ads down here, you're going to start seeing better metrics, and you can start turning off ones that don't work. Okay, so that's perfectly set up now for us to understand our lead gen funnel. But now we want to look at doing a purchase funnel for ecom. And again, you can go in here and you can see the ecom ads one. So you can build it with more time and more columns. So let's delete that. Let's go back to performance, how it's going to open up. And again, we've got a performance one here. Now that's not good enough. So I like to do the same thing again. I like to go through to performance and clicks, and it's going to give me more columns. But I still now want to understand, we have a link click. Now, this isn't an e-commerce ad. So our metrics in here are going to be a little skew, but it's about understanding what I can show you with these columns. So let's go back in here and I can start showing you the columns that we'd want to understand how e-com would work. Now, from an e-com point of view, there are some very important things. We want to know who's adding to cart. And we want to know what the value of that cart is. And then again, we get all our ticks. We're going to tick those off. And then we want initiate checkout. Here we go. And we also want to know the value of the initiate checkout. We're going to untick all these. Like that. Then we want to know how many people become a purchase. Got my spelling today. Purchase. Like this. Value. But I also want to know a cost per purchase. And then with purchase, we've actually got the ROAS. So that's going to be our last one. So if we go through here now. Like this. And then save our column. We'll call this ecom. And save. You can see now we've now got all these other columns coming through. Okay, so again, if we want to smarten this up, we can go back to customize our columns, and let's, for instance, just get rid of all these like we did before, just so you can keep it nice and visible with what you're seeing. Now we are going to keep in, we would definitely keep in your spend, your budget, and things like that. But it's about on this video is just understanding how you can see these columns are just going to make it so much easier for you. So here we go. So this is now how we can start seeing our columns for ecom. We've got an ad running, an e-commerce ad. Let's say we're trying to sell some jumpers or jeans or whatever. 34 people have seen the ad, and it's costing £3.113 to get those link clicks. Okay. Now ecom will probably be cheaper. Now the better your ad, the cheaper this will be, because you're going to get more clicks and your click-through rate is going to be higher. 1% is where I'd want ecom or lead gen to be as a minimum. Anything lower that, then I'm trying harder to get that click-through rate up, unless all the metrics work and we're making a fortune. If we're trying to sell something that's £1,000 and it's costing us £3 to get 34 people, and of those 34 people, we start getting some of those to actually convert £1,000, then we may not need. But either way, we're always trying to make things better. Now, I have just noticed clicks all. I want to take those out. This, right, okay, and save that again. Right, so we've got 34 clicks. That will lead into an average of 10% add to carts. And from the add to carts, we want a percentage of those to lead into a checkout. And from a checkout, we want a percentage of those to lead into a purchase. And from a purchase, we want a percentage of those to lead into a, from a purchase, that's the end one. For a purchase, then we've got our cost per purchase and our return on investment. So here, again, we can have a load of ads coming down the side, and we can see which ones are getting a better click-through rate. So we might see another one that's getting 3.9% click-through rate, and your cost per click is £1. So it's bringing more people in for a cheaper cost. And then you can start seeing of those, is it just about the people coming in, or are they adding to cart as well? Because this is what's important. The add to carts, checkouts, and the purchase, they're the important part. So we need to start analyzing all the ads that we have running and starting to see which ones are coming through this funnel and whether there are any bottlenecks on this funnel or not. Now, if we're finding that we've had 1,000 clicks, 10% of those should be an add to cart on average. So that means that we're looking for 100 add to carts. If we found that we've only got 13 add to carts, we're working on a 1.3%, which is really, really bad. So something's happening with the time, the consumer coming in to adding to cart. Now, is it the right or wrong consumer? Is it that you're sending them to the wrong place? Remember, if you don't already know this, always send people. If you're sending a pink t-shirt, send them to the pink t-shirt's landing page. Don't send them to the home page to then go and figure out where the pink t-shirt is. You need to keep them on a conveyor belt and hold their hand so we don't get any bottlenecks. So pink t-shirt ad goes to the pink t-shirt product page. From there, we want 10% of the link clicks to add to cart. And from there, we'll be looking at 2% of those to start purchasing. And then we start looking at a return on investment, which is compared to our ad spend. And we'd want, a 3, well, you'd have to work out your own, depending on your own costs of selling your products. But let's say it was 3. For every £10 we spend every day, we want £30 in sales. So we get 3 ROAS. So this is the best way to say it. But as I say, if you want to come into the school, go to school.com/the ads clinic and come into the classroom here. You can see here just a little bit of an overview. We've got our community. We've got everything that's going on. We've been going for 2 weeks. We've already had 74 people, or less, so we've had 70 people sign up, which is brilliant. We're growing really quickly. We've got a classroom here with all sorts of things going on. We've got past lives. We've got a drop-in clinics that get recorded when I'm helping other people. Really good little community there of people helping each other on the ads live on a Thursday evening. Links to my Facebook podcast. But then also we have these 2 videos here, which are perfect for this call. So I hope that helps everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll be going live every Wednesday at 1 o'clock on LinkedIn, always about a different subject matter to do with Facebook advertising. And I hope to see you on the next call. Take care. Thank you very much for joining.